everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Order Out of Chaos Show. Um, are there any toxic people in your life? Perhaps you have experienced having that one fake friend who, when things are going well in your life, tries to make you feel that you're still not good enough by pointing out your flaws instead of affirming your success. Or you might have a partner or a family member who makes you feel guilty about how great your life is while they're struggling with their own, and because they claim to be victims of a world that doesn't give them any breaks. Toxic people are harmful to your health, alright? Just how harmful are they? There is a result of a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association that revealed that being in a relationship with a negative person increases your risk of having a heart disease, diabetes, and metabolism issues. Some people probably become toxic as a result of their own experiences in life. For example, they may have been raised in a dysfunctional household where they were not taught how to handle their emotions in a healthy way. But regardless the source of their negative behavior, its effects are felt in the present, and you're most likely be a target. Although cutting off all communication with these negative people can be like the simplest solution to avoid the negative effects of toxic people's behavior, but it's not always the most practical. So guys, you may have guessed the topic of this episode. So yes, in this episode I'm going to talk about toxic people, and I'm going to share with you some effective ways to deal with a toxic person in a relationship, in your family, and in a workplace. But first, let's just check the signs of toxic people. So first, the first sign that you are dealing with a toxic person, you and others are blamed for all the negative feelings and circumstances in their life. Toxic people actually tend to project all the feelings of inadequacy and insecurity towards the people closest to them instead of being accountable for these emotions. For example, someone may be in a bad mood and they won't own their feelings and be responsible for them. They may turn to you and say, "You're sure in a bad mood," and this will probably leave you confused. You will often find yourself on the defense without really understanding why. You will get accusations and questions that don't make any sense to you, and seemingly don't just go out of nowhere. Second sign, you are wrong and they are right all the time. If you have a person in your life who doesn't admit mistakes and makes you feel that you are wrong all the time, it's most likely that you are dealing with a toxic person. Toxic people actually can go to the great extremes to be right, including changing facts and challenging your memories. Toxic people don't readily admit when they have made mistakes and or misspoken or miscalculated something. 3, they disregard your boundaries. It doesn't matter how many times you have requested them to stop behaving in a certain way. Toxic people will continue to act, to behave in a way that violates your wishes, and they may also expect you to come through for them, regardless of the time of the day or what are your personal circumstances are, and they don't even recognize that when they are walking all over you. Your personal boundaries are the barriers that you set to separate yourself from the world around you. So these barriers are set to help you define yourself and help you feel like you are protected from the people who are hurtful, disrespectful, and invasive. People with healthy boundaries will know their limits and express themselves, whereas people with unhealthy boundaries will never know when to stop and will pull on you in aggressive ways. 4. They are constantly dishonest. It is, well, you know, guys, that toxic people are known for their constant lies, even if they're about the smallest things. It is a matter of, and it could be a matter of exaggerating the facts of a story or making something up, all right? Which is a common manipulative tactic used by the gaslighters. 5. They don't apologize. Toxic people, when they are wrong, they usually don't apologize. On instances when toxic people do apologize, it's usually a calculated move to manipulate you, so you can give them what they want. The 6th sign, they are often sarcastic. A little bit of sarcasm here and there can be funny, but too much sarcasm can hurt people's feelings and belittle them, which is the favorite weapon of toxic people. Sarcasm is actually rooted in anger, in distrust, and weakness. Toxic people are so used to communicating in a sarcastic way, because they don't have in order to boost their self-esteem, and they can't see how much damage they are doing. And when they are called out on it, toxic people usually respond to the accusation of being hurtful to others with even more anger. Sarcasm is never a healthy way to communicate with people. Sign number 7 of toxic people. They are always critical of others. You may have noticed that toxic people actually talk about other people behind their back. When you are with a toxic person, you may notice that they talk about others, they speak poorly about other people when they are not around, and chances are that they are doing the same thing to you. So let's check some of the effective ways to deal with a toxic family member. You know, guys, that toxic people usually try to test your boundaries, and it's the same thing with their toxic family members. If you see a family member who tries to go over the limits that you have set, try to speak up and communicate with them. but not in a way that doesn't hurt their feelings. For example, if you have your little sister or little brother who disregards your request of not calling you during the time of the night time, to give them a ride, try to find time in order to talk to them and tell them that they can find you, but you also have your own needs to take care of. I mean, try to tell her or tell him, try something like this: why can we just find another way to get you home safely? Instead of saying, why are you so needy? Tell him or tell her that you need to sleep and you can't do it. But don't make them feel that they are attacked, because toxic people, when they feel attacked, they will attack back, no doubt about it. Avoid discussing private matters with them. Although they're family, they can use the story you tell them in order as an ammunition in order to attack you in the future. So don't give them deep details about your personal life or your problems with your kids or your spouse. Just give them general answers. And they could also take a small detail of anything that you said to them and exaggerate into it and make something bigger than that and hurt you. How to deal with a toxic partner in a relationship. First, you must acknowledge that you cannot change your toxic partner. Some people actually stay long in a toxic relationship because they hope they can help to change their toxic partners, and this is wrong. You have to let the idea that toxic people will change because of your assistance or insistence. Toxic people will never change. I mean, you have to let go of the idea that you can change anyone, and especially when it comes to toxic people. The only thing that you can change is their impact on your life. Second way to deal with a toxic partner in a relationship, similar to dealing with a toxic family member, you have to set your boundaries in a relationship and stand firm to these boundaries and let your partner know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Toxic people will make you work so hard in order to please them, but before you know that, your boundary walls will have been demolished. Okay? The best solution, the third effective way to deal with a toxic partner in a relationship, is to learn how to let go. You need to learn to let go. I mean, being alone is much better than being with a toxic partner. How to deal with a toxic coworker in work? The first thing to do is to keep your distance. If you have an office next to your toxic coworker, make sure to move to some other area where he is like far away from you. The second way to deal with a toxic coworker or toxic environment in the workplace is to recharge from the negative influence with self-care activities. So this is it for today's episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Goodbye for now.